Hi everyone, Michael Thiel with Presentation Plus Ups. In this episode, I will walk you through the heart and soul of the virtual home office studio, picking the right computer. Let's talk about the do's and don'ts and finding the most bang for your buck in terms of your home office computer. Let's get started. Okay, if we're shopping for a computer and you just want to get started, I would highly recommend a Dell XPS desktop. This is what has been recommended to me by several IT professionals. They say very strong, very powerful, very feature rich, but this is not that cool, sexy gamer computer that has all the LED lights. For a business user, I think this is a very great place to start. You'll notice that I'm recommending a desktop and not a laptop. The reason is we need the additional ports, we need the cooling. If over time you want to upgrade a component, it's just a lot easier to do with a desktop. Now, obviously, that's not going to be very portable, but if we're talking about a virtual home office studio, like you can see right here with my setup, this is just a better way to go. It really is. So let me walk you through a few of the components that I consider to be mandatory if you do not want to make mistakes and underbuy and then have to have all kinds of problems over time. So the first thing I would recommend here for you is that you're going to want to have at least an Intel i7 computer processing unit or a chip, computer chip, that kind of thing. You need a fast brain to keep up with everything we're going to do. The second thing, you're going to want at least 16 gigabytes of RAM. So RAM is the ability for your computer to multitask, and that is going to be something extremely important, is to just have the ability for your computer, as you have multiple programs open, to be able to operate without a lot of stress. Okay, next thing I want you to do is put on your shopping list from a graphics card is at least have an NVIDIA graphics card. You could potentially go with an AMD one. Bottom line is you don't want to just have your standard out of the box graphics card. You need a high-end graphics card to keep up with all the various movements that are going on. Specifically, if you want to get into a nice clean green screen, gonna need a graphics card so your computer doesn't short circuit. And believe me, that's a mistake I only found out by experience. I had a cheaper laptop. I was going, okay, I can green screen, but once I start getting into a live meeting, you're gonna have some issues, I promise you. The last thing I would put on my shopping list is what we call a dual drive. So a dual drive is going to be to have, number one, a startup drive. So that's where you would traditionally put your Windows operating system, your Microsoft Office, your PowerPoint, your OBS, your Adobe Creative Cloud. You would put those on your solid state drive, and then I would have a second drive. This one's traditionally more of your old-fashioned mechanical drive. This is where you're gonna store all of your assets and content over time to keep those separate. So I would recommend a dual drive as well. So if you have those boxes checked, and what I've put down here right now is just the bare minimum, which is an Intel i7 chip. They now have additional chips. I don't want to date this video too much, but over time, there's currently an i9 and i11. You can get a much more powerful computer, but this will work great for you. So starting for about $1349, $1350, I guess, you can step into a very capable computer. This is basically what I have on my setup back here. This will get you a decent chip. You're going to have the ability to have that nice graphics card, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and then this does have that dual drive. Pretty darn affordable. I mean, if you were looking at just an out-of-the-box laptop, you would get a very, very basic business laptop for $1349. So it would have an i5 chip, it would have a wimpy little graphics drive, it wouldn't have something like this. You might have 4 to 8 gigabytes, and you certainly wouldn't have a dual drive. So a lot of benefits to going for this. Here's what this looks like. All right, so here is the drive. Let's just give it a little spin. Woo, kind of cool, right? Could make a little video here, set it to music. The important thing is I'm using all these ports, and you would too if you want to set up a virtual home studio. So first of all, just kind of glancing in here, you can see if you have some additional microphone that you want to plug in, easy to plug that in. So for example, if you wanted a lapel mic and a wireless connection, this would be a great place. You could plug in your wireless receiver and then have this all set up if you didn't want to go with a boom mic like I have. You can see multiple USB ports up front and a USB-C drive, which is becoming the norm. I'm going to reset this and let's just step this to the back. And here's what becomes very important to you if you are wanting to get into this type of virtual home studio. What I want to do is call your attention here to this metallic area on the bottom. This is where that NVIDIA graphics drive resides. And this is why it's so important, is that you want all of these different ports so you can plug in all your monitors. I would make sure that you at least have a match between your monitors and your graphics computer here. So you can see here we have this output has 3 display monitors, 1 HDMI, and it also has what's called a DVI port. So you can see the other thing that's a benefit with this is that you have a lot of additional connections, and whether that's for secondary audio or for me, for example, with my Elgato camera that you're seeing on the tripod here, I've got a cable connected to a capture card that plugs into the back of one of these USB inputs. So that is the second reason that I do recommend an actual desktop, is just all those different ports. It's amazing how quickly they fill up. That in a nutshell is this video. Hopefully you found this helpful. It's really not as pricey as you think. I mean, if you're thinking, wow, I need to spend $5,000 on a computer, you don't. Okay, signing off. Thanks so much for watching and make it a great day.